Today we are going to cover the differences between two important AI terms in the AI ecosystem, and which are agents and workflows. So we'll see what's the difference between agents and workflow, where exactly you can utilize the agents and where exactly you can utilize the workflows. So let's get started with agents. So if you look at this particular agent diagram, then there are a lot of components while defining the agents. The most critical one is going to be its brain, which is going to come from the LLM model. So we cannot define any agent without defining the LLM model, and this LLM model is only going to give the intelligence and reasoning capabilities to this particular agent. Other than this, there are also a lot of important components which you would see in any kind of agentic framework. So the first one is going to be this tools. Tools enables agents to interact with external systems like API, databases, and files. Other important component is going to be memory. Memory is going to help the agent to persist the longer conversations. So there are a lot of types of memories that you will see for agents. Some are going to be short-term memory, which are going to be stored just in memory, and some are going to be the long-term memory, which are going to be persisted in some other long-term persistent services. The last one is going to be prompts. So prompts are basically your user and system prompts, and specifically in this case the system prompts are going to be much important, because that's how actually you are going to pass certain instructions to your agent and ask it to perform certain tasks. If we look at all these components separately, then these are basically the context which we are going to pass it to agents. The agent output is heavily going to depend on what kind of context we are passing to the agent. High definition context is going to generate the high definition output. So when the user is going to pass certain input and set a specific goal for the agent, then agent is going to utilize like all these tools, whatever is available in its bucket, and will try to reach to given goal on its own without any intervention. So using the intelligence which it is going to get from the LLM models, it is going to take a call what kind of tools it has to call, what kind of conversation it has to retrieve from the memory, and based on the given instruction it will try to reach to the given goal. And once it is satisfied with the generated output, then it's going to present it to the end user. Irrespective of the agentic framework, you will see like all these options available in all different agents. Now this is all about agents, but what about workflows? So workflow basically comes into picture when you have to develop the multi-agent applications, and all these agents has to be executed in a certain order. That's where workflows comes into picture, because now using workflows you can define the execution order of your agents. So there are multiple kind of workflows available. So there is a sequential workflow. In this particular case, what would happen, suppose you have two agents, then the input is first of all going to get passed to the first agent. It's going to generate certain output, and that output is now going to act as an input to the second agent, and then this second agent is going to generate the final output, which is going to be presented to end user. Similarly, there is a option of loop agent. There could be a scenario where for certain tasks you want your multiple agents to be executed in the loop. So in this case, the input is going to get passed to the first agent. Agent first is going to generate some output which is going to go to the second agent, and then the second agent is also going to generate some output which is going to again get passed to the first agent. So you can see like in this particular case, the agent execution is going to happen in the loop. Now because this is going into the loop, then we want to make sure the loop is not going to be infinite loop. So in this case, you can define the max iteration of the loop. It will come out of the loop only in two criterias: if the max iteration has been fulfilled, or if the agents are satisfied with the generated output before reaching the max iteration. So in that case, you are going to get the final output. The last one what we have is the parallel agents. In this case, the input is not going to get passed to the one agent. It is going to get passed to multiple agents parallelly. So these two particular agents are going to work on the given input, and then it will generate some output which you have to aggregate and then present the final output to the user. So you can see in the workflow, it is just about managing the workflow of the agent. So in this particular case, no LLM model would be required, no external tools would be required. It is just about sequencing your agents in a specific manner, so the execution of the agents can be done in the required fashion. Now just for the code example, all the sample code I have taken it from the Google ADK framework. So in the Google ADK framework, let's say if you have to define an agent, then you can see like you can define agent by passing the name, description, instructions, and as we mentioned, okay, there would be capability to define the model which is going to act as a brain for this particular agent, and then there is an option to pass tools. Similarly, you can also pass the memory. In this case, this also provides the persistence options, and you will have option of short term and long term memory. Here at the right side, what you see, this is how actually you can define the workflow in Google ADK framework. So the first one is going to be the sequential agent. So in the sequential agent, all these agents you can define as a sub agents because there are going to be multiple agents. So whatever agent you define at first, that is going to get executed. And once this first agent complete its execution, then only the second agent is going to get executed. Similarly, in the loop agent, again you can define the agents under sub-agents as a list, but here you would see there is an option of max iteration. This is just to avoid the infinite loop. So either agent would satisfied with the given output, or they will go for the max iteration, which you can by passing just certain integer number. At last, we do have the parallel agent. So parallel agent, again, you can define as a sub agents, but here the execution order doesn't matter because whatever input you are passing it to agent, that is going to get executed in the parallel mode. So whether you put the second agent at the first place or vice versa, the ordering doesn't matter in this case. So I will put the link in the description and you can go with that link just to understand how to define the workflow in agents from scratch and how to see it in action. That's all what we have in this video. Thank you for watching.